I'm trying to make a video about friends and why they're great. This friend is useless, bringing us down this road where we're burning to death with nowhere to go. Where are we going?
I have no idea. But we're together. Friends getting lost together.
Friends. How people here are lonely in Bangkok. One thing that I would like to change here in Thailand is to have male... Hello, welcome, Swaddy Cub. Yesterday I went to... come on, give me a break. Yesterday I went to a YouTube meetup that was arranged by James from Chocolate Man in Thailand. Now about 15 YouTubers turned up to this event, and after about a couple of hours we were all sitting around talking to each other, and I thought to myself, half of these guys, more than half, are actually my friends. I didn't feel like I was amongst YouTubers or royalty or anything like that. I just felt like I was amongst friends, and that's what today's video is going to be all about. Now there's two tales to this story, because depending on what you do here in Thailand, you could have friends like these, but I hope not. Now, all jokes aside, I appreciate him as well. But the funny thing is, when I first arrived here in Thailand, I was also lonely for the first couple of months. Well, I was surrounded by millions of people in one of the busiest areas in the whole city. And I was going out nearly every night. I was still in that holiday mode, you know. I'd just arrived back in Bangkok, so I was going out partying. I was speaking to hundreds of people, and it was great. I had short-term friends absolutely everywhere. But I would bond with these people, and they were only here for like 2, 3, 4 weeks. But they were only short-term friends, and that's why I still felt lonely here in this whole city. It was only after a little bit of time that I actually reached out to Adam, Keys One, and we linked up, we went to a car show. Well, you know the story, we've sort of been friends ever since. And since then I've met Serge from Life with Serge, Chad from CB Media, and all of these people I've just met randomly in different places, you know, car shows, walking down the street to go and get dinner. And just, you know, I've just stopped, said hello, fancy a beer, and then, well, we just go from there. We've just got things in common. And not only that, I want to talk about the difficulties people have here finding friends. How people here are lonely in Bangkok. Yes, surrounded by millions of people and still lonely. Ways that you can find friends, ways that you can meet people depending on your circumstances. And obviously my story as well and my experience here in Bangkok. So stay tuned for that. Let's get into the video. And it's not about name dropping and showing off and going, oh, look who I know, look who I know. It's, for me, they're not YouTubers. Yes, they are, and they are. But for me, they're all friends. And that's what matters most. And I'm really lucky to be in this social circle of creators where we all pretty much live in the same area and all have the same interest. You know, we're lucky to be able to just bounce off each other's energy and sort of create the things that we do for you guys to enjoy. Now, let me talk about one thing that I would love to change. One thing that I've been trying to change, and it's very difficult for me here in Thailand. But one thing that I would like to change here in Thailand is to have male Thai friends. It's very difficult here to communicate with the male Thai group or audience, if that makes any kind of sense. The few times that I have experienced this is when I went to the Klong Toi train tracks, and they were the most welcoming guys I've ever met. Some would say they look intimidating, they wouldn't even go down the train tracks. But you know what, they were so helpful, they were so friendly, you know, they were trying to give us beers, they didn't even want anything, they just wanted to interact, they were curious, and they were a good bunch of guys, and it would be nice to make more friends like that if possible. And another time was when I went to the R1 drag event down in, I think, Southeast Thailand with Kai, and all of the guys were like, what are you guys doing here? And they were like, come into the cars. And that's when we went into the 700 brake horsepower Evo. And they were just happy for us to be there. They were happy for us to go in the cars. Maybe it's curiosity, or I don't know, but they wanted to interact with us, and I was happy to interact with them. I felt like I was more in their world when I went to sort of like their place of interest, if that makes any sense. But it'd just be nice to have like a Thai guy or a bunch of Thai friends that, you know, I could ring up and say, do you fancy going for a bunch of beers, lads? And just, yeah, just hanging out with. That's the one thing I struggle with here in Bangkok, is finding male Thai friends. I'm trying to make a video about friends and why they're great. This friend is useless, bringing us down this road where we're burning to death with nowhere to go. Where are we going?
I have no idea. But we're together. Friends getting lost together.
Friends? Well, he's got that right. Completely off topic, we just saw this house completely made of wood while we were looking at this mega condo. But as we were looking at it, sorry for the road noise, we noticed this house next door completely made of concrete. The contrast in Bangkok is unbelievable. But we can't all be content creators meeting YouTubers left, right and centre. So yeah, let me talk about some of the friends that I've spoken to. And I'm not going to drop any names, but they've had a different experience here in Thailand. One of my friends, he said he's been lonely here for 2 years. He doesn't work in an office. He learns online doing like courses and stuff like that. He tries to go out and socialise with people, but he doesn't drink at the same time. So it's very difficult to meet people depending on your social circles. Drinking's a huge thing here in Bangkok and Thailand. So if you don't drink, it can be very difficult sometimes. On the flip side, I've got another friend here. He's slightly crazy, but he lives in a hostel. He's been there for 9 months and he socialises all the time. He's out with different friends day in, day out. Friends are falling out of his pockets. And they literally live right next to each other within like a half-mile sort of distance, and they're living completely different lifestyles. Even though one's actually spending less than the other, he's definitely got more friends, more social circles, depending on who you're hanging around with and where you are staying. So look, where am I going with this conversation? Where's this friend conversation going? Well, basically, I'm just trying to highlight the differences between different environments, different situations that you're in here in the city. And I know it's probably the same in every city in the world, but when you come here as a traveller, it's so easy to make friends. Short-term friends, 2-week, 3-week, 4-week friends, especially here in the city. I advise people to come to this city alone because you will never be alone. You will always find that friend for 2 weeks to hang around with, or 1 week, and then find a new friend for another week. You're never alone in the city, but you can still be surrounded by millions of people and still feel alone here as an expat. So like I was saying before, for those who are here as expats and you are, well, maybe you are lonely, feel free to reach out, say hello. But there are options. Have a look on Facebook, look through the groups. I know there's plenty of expat groups. I'm part of an expat car group. You know, I love going to these car shows, you go there. There's still a mixture of like Thai guys and like English people and Australians and Americans and all sorts. Just find a group that interests you. You don't have to go out drinking. If you do want to go out drinking and you just still, again, want to socialise, you're not staying in the hostel, but you're staying in your own comfy hotel, which is probably what I would be doing, then there's another app called Couch something. Mr. Mark recommended this app to me. I'll put it up on the screen now. I'm probably butchering the name completely, but he showed me, he scrolled through, there's just meet up after meet up after meet up of just people that are alone. They just want to go and have a beer or go and have dinner or just go exploring or just do something. You know, people see maybe even my videos of exploring and they think, well, I'd rather go and share that with somebody else and have an experience. Well, I hope that's a little insight into, well, my friendships here and other people's that I've mentioned in the video. Like I said, I'm not going to mention names in this, but it's just a massive contrast between experiences here in the city. Even though you're surrounded by millions of people, you've all got short-term friends, single-serving friends for those that have watched Fight Club before. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have any trouble with friends, loneliness, anything in Bangkok, Thailand, just hit me up a message and I'll try and point you in the right direction. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.